twice.
The stream crashed there for a second.
So then we go up. She gets ready. She gets paid. We're getting ready to leave, and I'm carrying her cupcake lid, and this girl's like, "Can we use that to cover up the toplessness?" And I was like, I just was like, "What?" And then like, I didn't know what she was talking about, and then I kind of went outside, and then I came back inside, and all of a sudden there's like naked, like topless girls walking around the
Mhm.
house,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Normal.
okay, can we go now?
Yeah, right.
Like, I was like, all right.
Yeah. I've been to a few interesting parties that have gone that direction. I mean, that was the whole point of the parties,
That's
but
what that
it's
yeah,
always
that's the
weird.
part of the party. But you would think I'd be used to it, like something like that, and living in LA. But no, that was my first time.
It's even when you know it's coming, it's just like you're like, I don't even. How do I react to this? Like, I'm not gonna like jump up and down, get excited, but
Well, no, the thing is though, I don't like. This is gonna sound corny, but I literally only have eyes for my girlfriend. You know what I
sure.
mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
like I don't have any like desire to
Hmm.
see other live naked women. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
so it just made me kind of uncomfortable, and I was just like,
So tell us about the Valve thing that gave
all
you
right,
nothing.
so yeah, the guy, there's a game that was coming out on Steam. It was in early access. It was called Paranautical Activity, and the developers Code Avarice, like he was the one of the guys was tweeting. His name's Mike Malbec, and the day it went live, it was still listed as early access. Like it was fully accessible. It wasn't early access. It was like a full release now at this point, and it was still listed as early access. So he tweeted a bunch of things that wasn't cool. That it wasn't cool that they did that, and it was shitty. And then all of a sudden he said I'm going to kill Dave Newell. Gabe Newell. He's going to die. And so that naturally that caused a kerfuffle. And so basically Steam pulled they pulled Valve pulled it from Steam, the game.
Right. Yeah.
And then the guy the next day was like, he resigned from the company saying, you know, that was my mistake and I don't want these guys to suffer for it. And lo and behold, uh, nothing changed. I guess Paranautical Activity remains off Steam. And then just like yesterday, he like or like the other day or today
Joined
or
back to
whatever,
the company.
he's back with the company.
That's so weird. Weird.
It's probably like I'm gonna leave and see if they put you back on thing, and if they don't, then I'm coming back
Yeah.
because there's really not much we can do at that point. But that doesn't help his company.
Yeah.
So, eh.
That's crazy. All right. Let's see here. We got this week's title is the Assassin's Creed problem. The Okay, got that up. I think maybe should update. There we go. Posted on the page, tweeted it out, and I think I'm ready to go. How do we sound, Rory? Did you check that out?
Yeah, I'll have another listen right now, but we sounded good. We did have a dropout. Looks like just early in the show. My internet
Oh, okay.
or Twitch caved out on me, but it reconnected. But let me just hear the audio. Sean, say something as well.
Something as well.
Something as well.
Listen to it.
Something as well.
As well? As well? Taswell?
Something.
You know what Taswell is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo. Sad.
Boo. I still haven't unfollowed him.
Me neither.
Yeah, I kind of like that I keep him in there. It's cool. That's cool, dude.
Yeah, we all sound good. Better than ever.
All right. Better than ever.
Check.
Sweet.
All right.
I can do that. I can do better than ever. As long as my computer's like trying to load our channel forever. Let me F5 this bitch. Okay.
Right before the podcast, I had my best game of Advanced Warfare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I posted the ending video on our Facebook. You can't see
I
the
like
score
William's
though.
comment on your video.
Okay.
Somebody has their Facebook notification thing turned up too loud though. Turn it down. Oh, maybe that's me.
I,
I was like, I don't think any of ours would pop up on it.
I'm really far away from my computer, and
Yeah.
my computer's muted. So
No, it's me. I have Facebook open. Okay. Facebook closed.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way before we got started. Okay. I'm in the chat. Sup, chat? And we can get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rated M for Podcast, your new favorite video game podcast. Today is Sunday, as usual, November 16th. We are live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Rated M for Podcast. It's 8 o'clock, and we're ready to roll. I'm your host, Drew, and as always, I am joined by the lovely Canadian Rory
What's up, everybody?
and the not-so-lovely Californian Sean.
I like that.
I thought you'd
So
like
lovely.
that.
Yeah, sorry I had to bail last week. It was just like I was literally getting personal news like during the podcast, and I was like, okay, I have to deal with this like right now.
Life does that.
So
Shit. What's up with this life getting in the way of podcast thing? Man, I don't approve. I feel you.
well, I'm good today and next week. So
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to get started. We got some crazy news. Lots of video games coming out. Lots of video games to talk about. Lots of controversy and craziness. And it's the usual. It's the usual. The usual Thursday. It's the usual Thanksgiving era. Like this is when everything's coming out and everything's all the bells and whistles are going off and we're getting launches and they're not so that great and people have lots to cry about on the internet. So why don't we just kick it off like we always do, and then we can get into those topics. But Rory, what you been playing this week, dude?
Get back to me and let me think about that. Sean, go.
You don't know what you've been playing?
It's been a
Sean,
busy week, man.
you know-
I gotta
you know
think
the video
about it real quick.
Sweet Sean.
I honestly I haven't played anything really new. I played some Call of Duty. Been playing more multiplayer. I like to go through after Call of Duty and go back and collect all the intel and do all that stuff and get those achievements. So there's like one single player achievement I need, and then I'm just playing multiplayer. Like I said, I played earlier today, right before the podcast. I had my best game. I went like 37 and 11 with 11 caps and
Nice.
8 defends.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, this is how, this is good. And man, I got to tell you, man, the double boost jump and the traversal and all that stuff makes that game like so much more fun.
Yeah.
Is it the
so
Titanfall
feeling
killer?
natural? Has it gotten into have you gotten used to it and now it feels kind of a natural progression of the franchise?
It's definitely not a natural progression at all. But having Titanfall in between definitely. And no, Rory, it did not replace Titanfall. Titanfall's still a better overall game. Yeah. It's very good, but the Titanfall had the shooting. It's the problem with Call of Duty, and I like is that you die too quickly. In Titanfall, you actually have to shoot people. And here, it's like you shoot a couple bullets and they fall over. And like in Titanfall, if you're getting shot, you can get away. And here, if you just start getting shot, you're done. Like, you're dead. It's like you can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
Even in Advanced Warfare, weird.
Yeah, I just this is something that happened ever since Infinity Ward left. The bulk of Infinity Ward left. They took away stopping power and stopping power was there to give you and kill people quicker, and that's because when you were shooting regular without stopping power, they took a few more bullets, and that's what felt good about Call of Duty. But they took that away, so now they've compensated by saying like, all right, well, you need less bullets to kill people. So.
Interesting.
But it's still a lot of fun. Although I hate the way the grenades work in this game.
Okay.
You can't
the select the grenade things.
Well, no, that's fine. It's you shoot them from your arm. and it's like, well,
What?
that's you shoot them from like a launcher on your arm, and so
Okay.
it's not as easy. It's not like I was really good with grenades, like arcing them and throwing them and cooking them, and now it's like it's just a weirder. I mean, I don't know. I need to get it's a new way of doing it, but I don't really like the new way of doing it, but
Mm.
I'll give it a. I'm gonna I'm getting better at
Just
it,
deal
but
with it. Yeah, just learn how to use it. So what about you, Rory? Have you figured out what you played this week?
I finally cracked the case. Halo Master Chief Collection.
Oh, no shit. Huh.
Yeah, there was this
Good
little game
job.
that came out, and it's been having some issues that we might talk about later. And yeah, so I was playing a little Halo Master Chief Collection. I was dabbling in some other stuff that I was talking about last week as well. But Halo Master
Okay.
Chief Collection was the one I've spent the most time with. And that said, too, I've actually spent very little time actually playing the game. I played, we did our 24-hour stream, so I kind of let my friends play most of the time during my portion of that. I jumped in at the end and played some multiplayer with you guys. That was a ton of fun doing the. I think there was like, I don't know, 10 of us doing rockets only. That was a blast. Had a lot of fun. But I've been in the forge most of the time, just kind of like working on something. And that said, I've been talking about like building my first level. It's basically done, but I think I'm gonna scrap it, not show you guys, and start with something new inspired by Interstellar, because I'm not totally happy with my map, and I don't really let my maps go out there unless I'm like, fuck yeah. If I don't think it's awesome, no, it's not awesome.
So
But
you're like the perfectionist, like crazy developer who scraps 32 projects before he makes one. So
yeah,
what you're telling me is, as you know, as the community leader for Podcast Evolved, to not rely on you for like lots and lots of content.
well, I get lots and lots of stuff coming out, man. Lots and lots come out. Like when I was doing my Halo Reach stuff, I was having basically like at least one awesome map a week, but usually it was more than that. Plus like some new game modes that I work on. But I got to get back into the feel of it. And that said, too, I start stuff all the time and like get to a certain stage in it and just go, you know what? It's just not working. If I'm not like I think I have this idea and I'm building on it and I keep adding to it, and I'm like, all right, this seems okay, and then it starts to come together and then I get excited about it again and then I realize, fuck, you know what? It's just not where I want it to be. And I've got
Hmm.
something else.
Okay.
So usually like my first map idea inspires what the next map will be, which is probably the first map that I'll get out. But maybe I'll let you guys jump on and see, but it's not a great map.
So do, do you like the Forge build, the this version of Forge? You're talking about Halo 2 Anniversary
I've been playing yeah,
Forge
I've been messing with the
specifically.
Halo 2 Anniversary Forge. There's some cool stuff in it. Like I like the additions. They fixed some stuff that was missing from Halo 4 as well, just like the precise movement options for setting your pieces. I like that there's mirrored objects in it, which is cool. There's some neat scripting stuff. I can have doors sort of like appear and disappear and shields come down. But overall, it's still just fuck, man. Like I wish I could have Forge World in this collection because nothing has topped it. Nothing has topped sort of just the perfection of what Forge World was. You know, the 343 with Halo 4 and on in this collection as well. They've seemingly tried to give us more options, and like now there's these skyboxes, and you've got the mirrored objects, but it's just I don't know what it is, man. I still find Forge World to be the best option. I like the pieces that were in there
Is
as
it just
well.
because of the layout there, or are you talking about the tools and the way that worked?
Um, It's a it's mostly to do with like the textures on the pieces and the world itself. I was inspired a lot in Forge World, and I was able to use the pieces in Forge World to build things like really cool, like accurate looking at walkers and snow speeders and whatever I wanted to. Like I could recreate like I could do Forge art in Forge World.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I kind of all my levels strive to be on top of like a playable level. I wanted them to almost be like an art piece as well. And the way that the texture
Uh,
packs work in the other collections, it's just not quite as adaptable in that way. And even just the filters that I could apply to Forge World, I was able to change things a little bit more subtly to look better than I can with the new Halo 2 Anniversary Forge World as well. But I'm tinkering. It's early. I might come around to it, but I'm not a big fan of the texture pieces that are in the Halo 2 Anniversary right now in the Forge. But yeah, we'll see. I need to spend some more time with it, but I'm still like my early impressions are just like fuck. I miss Halo Reach and Forge World. Like if I still had my Xbox 360, I would be in Forge World still to this day, building shit in there. And Halo 4 Forge kind of just didn't do it for me, and the new stuff isn't
Is
quite
this
grasping me either.
is this a good band-aid though from Halo 4 for you? Is Halo 2 Anniversaries? It's the fact that it's making you want to go back to Forge World so hard. That's what you're enjoying with it's because you're enjoying this and you want that old palette, that old layout.
Yeah,
So what I'm asking is this better than Halo 4's where it's not like pissing you off, it's just making you kind of long for the
yeah,
yesteryear.
it's definitely not pissing me off. I like some of the stuff they've done. I wish I could I wish I could have the options and updated rules and such with the Halo 2 Anniversary Forge and have that
Sure.
within Halo Forge world, but then let me also switch the textures up so that I can
Mm,
use um, all the different variant texture packs in that world as well. Like in Halo 4, they
right.
had these different Forge World options, and like if you were building in space, you would have a different texture pack. Like all the blocks and stuff would be textured different for the space stuff. And if you were in
Huh.
the underground cavern area, your textures were like green and grimy and had this industrial sort of vibe to it. And at first, I was like, that's really cool too, but they were so specifically textured that it made it hard to um, change those into other things. Like I couldn't do an AT-AT without it looking like some weird rusted fucking thing. I couldn't make an authentic AT-AT with any of the pieces. And that's just a small example. But anyway, I'll warm up to it and we'll see. But it's not. It's definitely not
Sure.
Forge World.
Sure.
And I miss that for sure.
Well, I played some Halo this week. I played, a little bit of Halo. Uh, I said goodbye to Destiny on Monday, in like the best way possible. I played a crap ton of Crucible and just got so angry that I was ready to break my disc that I got from the Ghost Edition and just go poop on my Ghost. I was so mad, dude. I was just so mad. It's like fuck this game because like and it wasn't because we were losing or I was getting, bad KDs or something like that. It was like we would win, we would just destroy a team, and then the next match would just be like, nope, can't do anything. Everything, nope, just all ruined. And I get that that's the charm of the Crucible in a way, but it was so frustrating because we were just all waiting for Halo. Um, so when Halo launched, we had the Rated M Gaming Network hosted our first, network-wide event. Podcast Evolved, the Halo podcast that goes up on Fridays, was the host of this 24-hour live stream that we did over on their channel, and it went off pretty well. For having not really. We only kind of organized that thing in like a week, I think. We started kicking around it. We've been talking about it, and I'd been like saying like, yeah, I think we do want to do something for the launch, but I didn't know if that was going to consist of, me, Krista, and David just kind of playing with the community, or if we were going to stream it, or what. And then that turned into a 24-hour stream, and that turned into why don't we get everybody involved in one place instead of kind of everyone having their own desperate their own streams and kind of splitting people up. So we tried to funnel everybody to the group, and we learned a lot from that. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I got to say that it was a big fun time.
Oh, it was.
And I was just impressed that we made it 24 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a big hats off to like everybody really. Like we did it. All the teams
Yeah,
like got there. Everybody that said they were gonna be there when we should be going live were there. And we got
yeah,
through it, man. It was fucking a long haul, man.
yeah. It
But
was,
it was
it
rad. But
was.
it was rad.
It was a whole lot of Halo. With all the launch concerns and issues aside, I was just happy that we were able to consistently keep together and play things and do stuff and keep it fresh. There's so much content in this one package that it really wasn't that challenging to say like, all right, well now we go and kind of investigate this part of the maps, or go do this thing in this one chapter and go back and check it out again later, doing an entirely different event or whatever. It really worked out. It's a good game to do for 24 hours because there's a lot going on there. um, so why don't we kind of segue that into news? Sean, we had some launch woes just all around on Tuesday.
Well,
What do you?
I wanted to bring up some MPD stuff first because it's
Oh
MPD
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And
It's that time again.
the the main takeaway, the two things that they kind of go together is that the Evil Within debuted at number 3. This is, and again,
It's
the
impressive.
NPDs is physical only North America. It's not worldwide, but that's
Sure.
the America has the biggest market for games. So that debuted as number 1. They said it's
Wait,
the
number one or
highest,
number 3?
number 3, the
Okay.
highest debut for a new horror IP.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, it's obviously this stuff is all spin because they start putting more and more adjectives in front of justifying, but
Yeah.
still, it's still impressive. But Alien did not make the top 10.
See, that's
It doesn't surprise me, really.
it's
It
that
seems like a bit
doesn't
of a niche
surprise me
thing.
for a horror game, but at the same time, for that to have an IP attached to it that is so recognizable, I guess
Also
that
very
just
recognizable in the gaming world for bad reasons after the last
it's
game,
sullied.
though, right?
Yeah. I guess that speaks a lot to the fact that, speaking from like just a business perspective, Alien isn't exactly hot right now. So I mean, if there was some new crazy Alien reboot coming out by Ridley Scott this year or something, I guess maybe that game would attract a little better from the public eye. But to compare that to The Evil Within debuting at number 3, that is like a stark contrast. Like, hey, here's a new franchise that gamers bought The Evil Within. Like, I don't think people just wandered off the street and was like, let me get that Evil Within game that I don't know anything about. You know.
It's safe to say
So
we can blame Ryan McCaffrey's low IGN score for everybody staying away from Alien
that's
Isolation.
right. Yeah.
No, but you know what? Well, first of all, I don't think Alien is, as much as I love the first 3 Alien movies. It's not a IP that is huge. You know what I mean? Like it's
Totally.
huge in the movie world, but not something in the game. But there is also the stigma of Colonial Marines.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of people that are in the know and can go back and say, okay, this is what's going on. This game is going to be better. They just see
Oh,
Alien, they're
sure.
like, oh, the last one was terrible.
Totally.
Yeah,
You know?
it's the same thing. I mean, yeah, when you're talking about, especially when you're talking about from a sales perspective, like when you look at games and how they're received from a sales perspective, you can't discount the actual masses that don't know a fucking thing about stuff that we know that actually make those things. I mean, if all of us who know a whole lot about video games stopped buying them, they would just sell like maybe 30% less than they normally do, as opposed to like a huge change in sales. And the people that see Alien and they hear the last one sucked, they just go, oh, okay, never mind. Even if the last one is completely a different genre, made by different people and a different company, like doesn't matter. It's the same thing as like I'm sure there's people out there going like, how did they do 2 Assassin's Creeds this year?
Mhm.
How did they even do that? Like, what I mean?
But
Like, so yeah,
the,
go ahead.
the funny thing is that this is the second time Bethesda has kind of came out with a sleeper.
Yeah,
Sleeper
Dishonored,
hit.
right?
Oh,
Th-
Wolfenstein,
no,
right?
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, you can go back to I'm talking about this year specifically, but
Yeah.
this Dishonored counts as well. As it's just like a new game that came out and was good, and people liked it and it sold well. So that's good. They're doing pretty good for not having said a word about Fallout.
Yeah, I like it. So, is anything else from MPDs of note, or was that kind
No, I mean, I fully expect this to be the last month that's for a while, at least for the next 2 months, that Sony takes the top spot again. I think this month's going to go to Xbox.
what Sony game took the top spot? Curious.
What are they? What's that?
You said,
He's meaning
in hardware
consoles,
sales?
right? Or-
In hardware.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
hardware,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, because there
hardware.
was that early report of like, we tripled our sales in 2 weeks, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all. I mean, that's November. I fully expect. I mean, it's $350 is a good fucking price. That's a great
Yeah.
price.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they're-
And more feasibly 250, which is also fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
they're-
and and they come, 2 of the bundles come with a game, and then you can get Call of Duty with one for $450.
Yep.
And I'm sure then each individual retailer has their own deals, or you can trade in and do all this other stuff and knock that price down. So I definitely expect the Xbox to have a good PR win
Sure.
in November. I
They could
definitely
use a
expect
boost,
that.
man. Like you say, they're primed for it for sure. And I know two buddies
I
that
think
just
it'll
texted
at
me over
least
the
close the
weekend,
gap
and
a little bit.
they have their Call of Duty bundles already. Like they're just like, just got it, you know. It's like, all right,
Cool.
so consoles are moving. Good for Microsoft.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just hope it. I think the reasonable hope would be like, hey, maybe this closes the gap a little bit and makes it a little more competitive, like, neck and neck, or getting closer to possibly being neck and neck. It's obviously not going to change. It's not going to turn the tide, so to speak.
No, it's too
But
early, man. Sony's
I
so
think
far
next
ahead.
year will really be interesting. I think next year, with this price drop and the way things are going, next year looks to be more interesting than it was leading into this holiday season, where it was like, hey, Sony's selling consoles to fucking Martians now because they sold all of them here on Earth, and like they have to go find new markets because they fucking flooded all the markets already. So yeah, we'll see.
The next year is going to be really interesting because that's when Sony's finally going to have their it's the beginning of what excites me personally is their exclusive lineup, and
Yeah.
they're going to have more. They're going to be more competitive on the games front.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
that's-
I'm sure marketing for Uncharted is going to be just out of this world.
Dude,
so
that game is gonna be
I wouldn't be
crazy. I'm gonna have like wet
wouldn't be
dreams leading up
we
to the
see
release of that game.
like Super Bowl marketing from Sony for Uncharted, for maybe something else that we don't know about yet, and
It's going to be funny. Well, two things. One, I just wanted to note that yesterday is the 1 year anniversary of the PlayStation 4.
right, yeah,
So happy birthday, Sony PlayStation 4. And then the other thing is, it's going to be funny seeing the marketing when they go Uncharted from the makers of The Last of Us, Uncharted 4. It's
yeah,
just like,
oh yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
how
Like
that goes. Yeah,
it's going to be, and I honestly expect, because The Last of Us is more successful than each individual Uncharted,
Sure.
not collectively, but each individual. So I have a feeling that The Last of Us is going to boost the sales of Uncharted 4.
hell yeah. Do you think? I mean, like if the commercials for Skyrim said from the makers of Oblivion, like, and it didn't say from the makers of Fallout 3, like, you know what I mean? Or if they made a
Yeah.
Fallout like trailer for Fallout and it was like from the makers of Fallout 3 and from the publishing company that brought you like the Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, the new
Say the word Skyrim
the
in
new
the trailer.
Fallout will say the word makers of Skyrim on it. I
Absolutely.
guarantee.
Right,
You
you
see
have
that
to do
stuff
that.
even in the movie
makes
world.
sense.
Like when Ridley Scott's Prometheus was coming out, like they're very selective. It's the same thing, games, media, the movies, or it's like Ridley Scott comes up and it's like from the director of Gladiator and Blade Runner,
Yeah,
or
it's not
they
gonna
just
say
said
like
Alien,
from,
right? They
from
missed
Tony Scott's brother. All right. So, anyways, some games came out this week. Let's see. Call of Duty was last week, right? So
Yeah. Well, there's I think there was 3 games this week: Lego Batman, Halo Master Chief Collection, and Assassin's Creed. 4 games: Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed
and
Rogue.
Assassin's Creed Rogue. Yeah, you're correct. And also Warlords of Draenor. Come on. Hello.
What's
Yeah.
that?
So hey, but the thing is like, and this is something that's been bumming me out
Hmm.
for a while. It's
Okay.
like, now that we're winding, and I brought this up on the group, but now that we're winding down on the year, there's really not many opportunities for that game that truly blows you away.
Hmm.
Unlike a, oh my god, this game is incredible. Like, there's a lot of games that are
Does that
really,
surprise
really,
you,
really
though?
fucking.
like deserving it, but I mean, did that come as a shock, honestly? Because
Yeah, it did.
I
It did.
definitely did not expect this year to blow my mind, so to speak.
I did.
I mean,
did,
not after
because
Grand Theft Auto 5, Bioshock Infinite, and fucking The Last of Us happened last year. You kind of get like they blew their load. They got to everybody's got to pack that back in.
yeah, but the funny thing is, you just mentioned 3 games, and none of them were my favorite game. My favorite game was Tomb Raider.
yeah, well,
Infinite didn't
Tomb
even
Raider's
come
definitely-
close.
Yeah, Tomb Raider's
But-
definitely on that list too.
But
I mean, last
the
year
thing
was
is,
huge.
no, but I don't get me wrong. I wasn't sitting there expecting it to be like the sequel of Years, where there would be like
Okay. Yeah,
more games. But I can go back as far back as 2007 and name at least one game I would give a 10 out of 10 to.
Okay.
And I'm not saying these are perfect games, but they're games that transcend my experiences with video games and make it something unique and special.
Okay.
And there wasn't anything like that this year. You know what I mean? Like every single year there's been that. And like yeah, it's a
Really?
transition year, it's a console year,
Every
but it's I mean
So it's
ev
Far Cry
ev
3 and Tomb Raider. What was before Far Cry 3?
okay, so 2007 is Call of Duty 4.
All right.
All right. 2008 was both Grand Theft Auto 4 and Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay.
Um 2009 was Uncharted 2.
Okay.
2010 was Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
2011 was Skyrim. 2012 was Far Cry 3. 2013 was Tomb Raider.
Hmm.
Those are my favorite. Like if I were to name my number
You
one
give
game
all
from
those
each year,
tens each year?
yeah,
So you just
every
haven't
single
you
game.
just haven't done it this year? So what's keeping Titanfall for doing it for you?
Well, because Titanfall, well, I mean, realistically, Titanfall, it's excellent game. It's a great start of a game of a franchise, but I can't deny that there was things that weren't in there, like private matches
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Now, if I were to review Titanfall now, it would be a 10
So you're saying
objectively.
like when the game comes out, it's got to be a 10, or else it doesn't count on your list. Because I mean, Game of the Year lists, you do that stuff at
No,
the end of the
it's
year.
absolutely. I mean, I'm still going to have a game of the year list, but
Yeah.
I knew Tomb Raider was my game of the year the moment those credits rolled. Like
Okay.
I knew that nothing was gonna. The only game that had a
Huh.
chance of topping it was The Last of Us, and The Last of Us didn't top it for me
So I guess I
because
just thought this was interesting because like I don't expect like I actively specifically don't expect every year to have like an end all be all game. I know that some years they're just bringing their B team, and I felt like some years are knockout years where you have like just slew of games. Like 2011 is clearly Skyrim's year. And I don't know. I guess last year, for me, it was GTA 5 was all I wanted it to be and more, and so it just stood out so hard against everything else that it really felt like a big game. But going into this year, I didn't really. I mean, as much as I've been hyped on Destiny, and of course I love Halo, I didn't go into this year going like, man, something's just gonna come suck me out of left field, and man, I can't wait to experience what that is because I
no.
knew
See, I
games.
mean, like I said, I mean, I totally get that. I'm not saying that this is, but what bums me out, and like I said, this is what kind of bums me out is that
Mm,
like I haven't had that experience, and I'm used to having that experience. I
yeah,
mean, I just
that's
went all the way back to 2007.
yeah, it
You know
must
what I
be.
mean?
Yeah, I could definitely go back over the years and be like, there was some great games in 2009, but nothing really did it for me. You know what I mean?
And that's
Like,
the thing. Like Uncharted was my favorite game of the entire generation. It
yeah,
came
and see,
out.
obviously, I
Uncharted
didn't
2.
play Uncharted, so like, what did that leave me with? I think it was like Borderlands, Arkham, and DJ Hero,
Uncharted 2, yeah.
Wow.
and
And so, I
ODST.
mean, and Arkham Asylum would have been
Yeah,
a close second for me that year. And the
sure.
thing is, like, I can go back even further than that with Knights of the Old Republic, The Chronicles of Riddick. Like, I can keep going back and finding those
Hmm.
games that are just like, wow. You know what I mean?
And you
And
specifically feel like this year doesn't have a game, doesn't have that.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
it could. Far Cry comes out
Oh
next
yeah, Far
week.
Cry has potential. Sure. Yeah.
That could be it. And Dragon Age, I could play Dragon Age and feel that way about
I
Dragon
would
Age. I
really
have
love. I think that would be like a heartwarming story for the Rated M community if Sean Messler plays and loves Dragon Age. Not saying that that's like out of the blue, but I think that would just be something that people would fucking love to hear
well,
you
I
be like,
mean,
guys, the best game this year wasn't Call of Duty or Titanfall. It was definitely Dragon Age.
well, here's the thing: the best game I've played this year, like, is the Swapper. That's the highest rated game. That was a
Oh yeah,
9.3. I gave it, but I can't. That doesn't count on my list because it didn't come out this year. It came out on PC last year. So,
yeah. Also,
so
I
that's.
think I think people's heads would explode if you were like, hey, this like small title is my favorite game of the year. You know what,
Well,
$10.
so far it is my favorite new game that I experienced this year.
Sure.
Of course, I did play Tomb Raider, which was still every bit as amazing,
Oh
only
yeah,
better because it
yeah.
was, higher frame rate and it looked better. And then the same thing with The Last of Us. But they're remasters, they're reissues. I can't count them. But yeah, just like but to bring it back, and I'm sorry I got a off track, but
That's cool.
to bring it back to Master Chief Collection, I know that I don't have a personal stake in Halo, but I was looking forward to Assassin's Creed Unity, and to see that it's not performing as well as it should,
Yeah.
in terms of performance, not like the game itself, but like
Sure.
and I've heard a lot of people say they liked it, but I also feel like some people tend to exaggerate things that they like as and not look at it
From
big
more like
picture and
standing back a bit and looking at it.
yeah. And so to see like and but I'm not. I haven't experienced this, but I've read so many people experiencing the issues with Master Chief Collection where they're disappointed. They returned it or they wanted to trade it back in or say, and that's not what anybody wanted. You know what I mean? Like not them, not you, not the person who bought the game, not anybody.
Right, right.
So it just kind of bums me out that like one of the biggest titles of the year is disappointing people, and it just feels like overall that's the year in general. Like
Yeah.
Watch Dogs disappointed. I liked Watch Dogs a lot. I thought it was a great, excellent first game for a franchise, and like I gave it an 8.5. Destiny, I like Destiny, but that disappointed a lot of people. Titanfall disappointed a lot of people. Like seemed to every
We don't
big
have that
hyped game.
that like new title or the new franchise that is going to be like the standout one that everybody's like, "Yep, this is here we go. Here's the new BioShock or here's the new Mass Effect, whatever." Right?
Yeah, but
And
not
I
even
kind
not
of
even
agree
like a
with that
new
though.
title. Not even like a new title. Like everybody
Yeah, but I
wanted
mean,
Grand
I
Theft
think the
Auto
ones that
5 to
were
be awesome, and it
yeah,
was. For the
yeah,
most
that's
part, everybody agrees that Grand Theft Auto 5 was awesome. You know what I mean?
sure.
So it's like it doesn't have to be like a new thing. It's just like your expectations are met. And I feel like obviously this varies from person to person. I'm just talking about an overall consensus. The overall vibe you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
from
No,
these
I
games,
understand.
it does no game across the board has had that kind of zeitgeist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and I would almost agree that, even Mario Kart 8 is like people are like really enjoying it, but they're like, man, there's a like a lost opportunity here in a way from where I mean this is just more of the same and it's great and it's stellar, but really could have done something interesting or crazy
Well,
with
Mario
it. And
Kart 8 is
anyways,
awesome, man. But they just fucked
it
up
is.
battle
I played
mode.
it
They
this
fucked
weekend.
up battle mode. Like that
Yeah.
that alone keeps Mario Kart 8 being from like all that it could be, man. If they just stuck with a fucking awesome battle mode, given us Block Fortress like on N64, that would have been an incredible package. Because the online works, the
Yeah.
gameplay's amazing, it looks fucking fantastic. Um, fucking battle mode. I'm not bitter about that at all.
So anyways, there were some games that came out this week. One of them being Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
Well,
And
that's what I was getting at. Sorry.
yeah, and I let me just start off with we're going to be talking about that nonstop all day, every day over at Podcast Evolve. So if you're a fan of this show, you want to hear like really in depth Halo stuff, I'm going to save most of that for Podcast Evolve. So please go check that out. Um, but I got to say, holy shit, this game is fucking incredible. Like just you could have told me, hey, multiplayer is coming like next month, and this game still would have been incredible. This game feels unreal. The 60 frames per second in Halo, I was really nervous about that. Feels absolutely perfect. I can never play another Halo game not at 60 frames.
Why
Like,
would you be nervous about a game getting playing better?
well, so better, yes, it's twitchier and quicker and stuff, but I was afraid that like a decade of playing a game a certain way and then you change it that I was going to be able to just never hit that shot again or wasn't going to be able to adjust my expectations of like how this level plays out and stuff like that and it works so perfectly. It feels like we've been playing like the Game Boy version of a game that was designed for the Super Nintendo for years and now we finally get to play on the Super Nintendo. It's just like holy shit, this is so much better.
Drew, let me ask you something,
Um,
because you've been playing through Master Chief quite a bit more than me too, and I just started playing through. I played a bit of the Halo
I
2
wouldn't be surprised if
campaign,
I put
both
like 80
sides.
hours into it.
But I
Yeah.
started playing. I want to play through all the campaigns after the stream. I was like, I'm going to play through all the campaigns properly from the beginning to end, and I've started with the first game.
Hmm.
And I have found
Yeah.
myself, I would say 95% of the time, I stick with that fucking old engine. It's weird, man. Like,
So
the only time I go
I
back to the new
agree.
engine on both of them is like when I'm like, oh, let's see how better it does look. Whoa, it looks so much better. And then I go back to
I
the 60 frames version of the original engine. It's weird. I didn't think I would play it that way, but I feel like I'm just going back and really enjoying playing it as that original Xbox version.
it's
Why are you weird?
it's also really obvious that there are sections, especially on the first game. I haven't trudged through much of Halo 2 yet. In the anniversary mode, I'm kind of saving that for like, all right, I got a day. I'm gonna play through this whole thing. Um, I I have played a lot of Halo CEA on the Master Chief Collection specifically, just because it's just an easy thing to go back and like try that. I like the playlists of it. Like I like the playlist of the original game, and I played Combat Evolved Anniversary when it first came out on the 360, and I thought it was neat and kind of novel. And the obvious pause between switching back and forth um, was kind of cool, but having it instant now, where you can just run through a room and just click, 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 click.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens that fast. That is impressive and incredible, but I think that the Xbox 360 really couldn't handle what they were trying to do with it. So the fact that it runs at a really smooth clip now, and the textures and everything really have room to breathe, and there's not a lot of pop in and stuff. Like it looks way better now. You really see the difference now than you could 3 years ago. But I agree, and actually find myself doing that. And this is one of my only like legitimate gripes about this whole package. Not counting the matchmaking debacle. Like I just have a gripe about the fact that I don't know how, but for somehow when you're out in the open and there's specific levels on Halo and on the Assault on the Control Room and on Silent Cartographer specifically, that if you're just out in the open with lots of grass and like you're rolling around on a warthog, the frame rate on the anniversary graphics just crumbles, and it's really it's very painful. Like it's painful to look at. And then when you switch it back to the old graphics, it just gets silky smooth. And so there are certain segments of Combat Evolved Anniversary that I just literally don't use the anniversary textures because I don't feel like dealing with. Even though it's prettier, it runs at this like really very obvious sub 60, and I would say sub 30 at some points. And I'm just like, okay, this hurts. I can't, because everything's running so smoothly, and then you go around a corner and you hop in a warthog and you're like, you're like, I don't
is
even.
Is it
what the
happening
fuck
because
is
you're
happening?
flipping to the new engine, or if you stay in the anniversary engine the whole time, it still happens when you get to those areas?
If you stay like wait, so on the level of the Halo, because I didn't switch back and forth that much in the first level because you're just in the corridors and stuff, and I would do it to like show a friend of mine, like, look at how bad the lighting was in the original game, and you're like, holy shit, I can't see anything in here, and then like turning the lights on, you're like, wow, there's actual light sources now in this room. That's great. Um, but then going to Halo, I was all in anniversary mode, and it was fine when I was running around. The moment I got onto a warthog, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck happened here? Like, what? It's just it can't handle the speed, the draw distance, the vastness of the areas with all of the textures kind of popping onto that. Um, and it honestly, I feel like it's a very specific thing. I think it's the stupid blades of grass that they put.
You got.
Like I think it's literally those blades, those stupid like blades of grass that they made very obvious in a lot of the areas that just kind of like there's too many of them. Maybe I don't know, but I mean it looks amazing. The whole thing is incredible. Master Chief Collection is one is so I said this kind of hyperbolically when I first like got my hands on everything. I was like, this is the best thing ever made for me personally. And after playing it for a week,
Destiny too.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I really like Destiny. I think Destiny feels better than any Halo game, but this is the best game ever made for me personally. It has all of my memories. It has all of my experiences, and they're all magically somehow presented in a way that feels better, looks better, plays better, and that 24-hour stream was like the best introduction to this package that I ever could have had, because I got to spend all day just trying new things, playing with so many different people that have so many different memories of all these different games, and they want to, oh, I never got to play, the computer maps. Let's go do that. So we did. Mm-hmm. Or I never got to play. I haven't seen the new anniversary lockout. Let's check that out, and we did. And like all like in the first day we were already hunting for. There's new collectible things called blast cans that are in the 6 remade maps that you have to find, and they are just unfathomably impossible to find. Like it blew our minds that in the first day somebody already had a guide up, and then we remembered that people had this game for like 2 weeks before it came out. So we're like, okay, well maybe that's why. But I mean, just all of the different things that you would want to do in a Halo game, like we did most of that, and I just barely scratched the surface. Like I didn't even launch Forge yet. I haven't figured out the theater thing yet because that's kind of in a limited capacity, and I want to play with that. But it's so great. So there are problems. There are serious problems. It took like you could sit in a searching for game screen for like a half an hour that first day, and luckily it would probably just cancel out and tell you, hey, it's broken, didn't work, sorry, try again. I think that has gotten addressed as much as possible in this first week. It sounds like not only did Halo have problems last week with matchmaking, but I guess matchmaking services for Xbox Live in general took a real big hit this week. Did you run into any of that in Call of Duty, Sean?
Any matchmaking problems?
Yeah.
No, I didn't play multiplayer the first day I had the game.
Okay. Well, I mean specifically this last week.
Well, when I did finally get into multiplayer, there was one game I had that had just major lag, but that was because the host was quit. Like, there's two things happen when there's either the host turned off his Xbox or the host left the game. When the host leaves the game, it's not as bad. When the host turns off their Xbox, that fucks everything up. Yeah, you're just running in place, and then you're teleport back to where you started, and it's just that was a mess. But yeah, other than that, I haven't had any issues.
Okay. There were reports of Call of Duty having some apparently game-breaking lag problems. There were reports of Assassin's Creed Unity's co-op just being completely borked. And then obviously matchmaking for a Master Chief Collection on launch day was pretty much non-existent. And then the following 2 days was being patched and addressed and was just mountains of frustration for people. We ran into problems with party issues, like the Xbox. So the Master Chief Collection as a whole is really straining under the weight of all of the people and all of the moving parts there this first week, because the network infrastructure is just really taking a hit because everyone in the world is trying to play this game right now. So that was affecting things like just simply there's an in-game party system as in most Halos, and so when I boot up to the matchmaking or the multiplayer section and I want to create like a custom game, it shows you who on your friends list is playing the Master Chief Collection right now and what they're doing. And sometimes it just shows nobody. Sometimes it just shows like one person, and you could have like 30 people on your friends list playing. And it's kind of really hit and miss. Like you can invite someone to your game using the in-game menu, and it will basically to just not work at all. I've actually had instances where I had a full party. I had like 8 people in my my in-game like game party, not Xbox Live party, but in the game. And I invited another person, and it just took me out of my party and put me in their party. Like I don't know how the fuck. Yeah, there's lots of weird, crazy shit going on with the matchmaking and the party system and all that stuff.
The chat thing was what was pissing me off the most when we were playing. Like we were all sort of in-game chat, couldn't get into parties with each other, and like that's got to
be an Xbox Live thing, because that we ran into that a lot with Destiny too, where you know, if you create a party or if you invite people to your game, to your fire team in Destiny, all of a sudden person A can't hear person C, but person B can hear both, but person A can't hear person B, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? You know, like some people can hear people and some people can't, and then like the answer is literally just crash your game and come back and then join. Like,
yeah, that sucked, man, because I could hear all you guys, and then we would get into the match and I couldn't hear like my team at all, and I was just like, fuck, man, like this would be so much more fun if I could hear the laughter.
See, I feel like a lot of this is literally Xbox Live, and I feel like a lot of this is Xbox One's Xbox Live, which is weird. Like, we've been talking about this since the Xbox One launched. It felt like a giant step back in the party system and Xbox Live in general. And so even though there's a noticeable step forward in a lot of things, like the Xbox Live party chat sounds like people standing together in a room, whereas the Xbox 360's party chat sounds like people talking to each other through like fucking fans. They're just everyone's holding a fan in front of their face. But at the same time, just like getting people together, simply inviting people to a party is like fucking way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't know. They fucked that up, man. That's one of my
Yeah.
biggest issues with
Here's the-
It's annoying.
Xbox One's new system is the party stuff.
I don't have any experience with the Master Chief Collection, but I do have experience with a bunch of other multiplayer games on Xbox, and I can't put that all on live, because the communication. I mean, I'm playing Titanfall. I played Call of Duty today. Like, there's
yeah.
just no. I don't have these issues.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a game thing. And what I don't get, and this is like, and if you look at the games that have had better launches, Call of Duty, I don't know how they managed to pull this stuff out every year without having a beta, but Destiny had a beta. Titanfall had a beta. Like these games that had relatively successful launches had betas. Why the fuck would you not have a beta for Master Chief Collection?
Yeah,
Like-
it's a little head scratching. I think if you're a multiplayer centric competitive like shooter type game, like Master Chief, like Call of Duty, like whatever, I mean, like you said, Call of Duty's been able to manage just fine, but in my eyes, if you're a big multiplayer shooter, get a little beta out there, man. Stress test this thing before launch date.
And it just baffles me that they wouldn't have put that out there as a beta. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and to real and I honestly feel like the Master Chief Halo 5 multiplayer, I understand why it's coming right after, during Christmas. I get that. I totally understand the timing of it, but I feel like that's something they should have closer to launch so they can be prepared for the influx of people playing the game.
I mean,
but
the Halo 5 beta is very obviously not about network infrastructure and stuff.
No, it's absolutely not.
Yeah, they're looking for very specific stuff coming out of that beta, and it's for the fans and their feedback on the future of Halo.
No, but, I understand that, but I feel like they should have another test beta like closer to launch.
Who's to say that they won't?
I'm not saying they won't, but I just think that I hope that this isn't the only one they have.
So real quick, we got some questions from the community, but I asked some of the guys from the Radium Gaming Network themselves some questions over the course of the week, and one that came up was someone suggested that every game have the beta from now on, like every major game that's going to have like major reliance on network infrastructure and stuff. Do you guys want that? Do you want to see just betas every time you fucking hear a new game announcement? Like Fallout 4 coming soon, betas, this Thursday or whatever.
But I mean, if Fallout 4 better be a single player game. But, and I just don't think that's Bethesda's wheelhouse. They just won't.
Sure, yeah, but just using a title, all right. So if Uncharted has a new extensive multiplayer where they completely revamped it or whatever, would you want a beta for that?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I personally don't give a shit about Uncharted multiplayer, but I'm just not a fan of third-person multiplayer. But I don't.
Okay, so Battlefront, that's a good example.
Yeah, Battlefront.
Fuck yeah, better have a fucking beta. Fuck yeah.
Rainbow Six, Rainbow Six Siege,
absolutely.
Does that need a beta?
Yeah, that's the thing. If the
it's a multiplayer only
game is
game,
online competitive multiplayer, then you should have a beta.
Now, what about to play devil's advocate here? Because those are relatively games that haven't been around for a while. Rainbow Six, Battlefront specifically, even though you're really just talking about, another Ubisoft game and another Battlefield with different stuff on it. But Titanfall 2, does Titanfall 2 need a beta?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Absolutely. Because it's a multiplayer only game.
Okay.
I mean, we let Call of Duty slide, but they've locked it down. They've proven basically now that over the fucking 10 or so years that they've been pounding these things out on a yearly basis, essentially, that they've got it under lock. They've got the secret sauce. Their servers are holding up. Whatever they're doing is working.
But one of the news pieces this week was that Call of Duty was having game-breaking lag, and and they've patched all the consoles this week for that. Like, I mean, that's something that happened. Like, I guess my issue is, why not just wait for them to fucking fix the shit? Now, the rare exception is Battlefield 4, where it takes a year.
No, this is my problem. This is my problem I've been having all fucking week. The consumer should not have to fucking wait.
I
Fuck that.
suppose, but I mean,
The onus isn't. No, no,
can't
no, no,
always
no,
simulate that kind of
no, 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 no.
launch.
That's why you need a beta. That's why
Yeah.
you need a beta to try to fucking open the floodgates and try to get as many people in there as possible so you are prepared.
So
Because
I had a suggestion when I was talking to that. You know, like how do you do that? Like how do you roll it out? And I was actually thinking, I'm curious what you guys think of this. So Halo 5 comes out. Multiplayer is exclusive to Xbox Live Gold subscribers the first week or the first day or whatever, just to lay a slow roll on onto those, or at least temper the roll on onto those servers, so it's not like 10 million people 24-hour time span.
Wait,
You
did you
get like
say it's
6 million
exclusive to
people the
Xbox
first
Live
day.
Gold members? How does that work though? Because everybody has to have gold in the first place to play it.
Well, not every game is it? I don't know. I don't even remember.
yeah, every online game requires Xbox Live Gold. No,
Hmm.
but here, like do it like Titanfall did it. They send out it was a private invite for the first couple of days, and then the last couple of days it was open to everybody.
Yeah.
They just opened it
I'm not
up.
talking about a beta. I'm talking about the actual launch itself.
No, no, fuck that.
Day
No.
one of like name a multiplayer game that day one millions of people hit those servers and there were no
Well,
problems.
I guess EA's almost doing that in a sense with EA Access. They could adopt a thing like that maybe, I guess, where it's like, hey, if you're part of Gold, you can get in, you get a portion, or you get the beta in early or something. I don't know, but
Because I really feel like I agree that consumers they should get what they pay for. I totally agree with
Yes,
that. However,
on day one.
for years now, and this is only going to get worse. For years now, we've seen more and more bigger and bigger name and more popular titles have online launches, have games launch with online features, or games that rely online connectivity, and the launches are really really rough. And then after a week or two, or in some cases a couple months, everything's perfectly fucking fine because that is how the game was built. However, it couldn't handle the initial launch because it's just something that on the back end there's I think developers and publishers are still working on. They're still working on trying to feed so many people.
That's on them to figure out, not us to wait.
But how are they going
That's
to
the
figure
bottom
it
line.
out until they actually do it? They got to learn
Beta,
each time.
a
They
beta,
can't.
and
I don't
it,
know
it,
if every game is capable of doing that though. You know what I mean? Like having a
I mean,
beta.
that's that. Well, the thing is, here's like again, I reiterate, the games that came out this year that required online that had a smooth launch had a beta versus the ones that didn't, and that just goes to show you that maybe you should have a fucking beta. Like if you want to have online features and everybody's pushing connectivity, if that is the goal and they want everything connected and everything online, then you have to pony up for the fucking beta to make sure that consumers do not have a bad experience. There's
Then Mike,
people who are legitimately returning Master Chief Collection because
right?
they cannot play it, and
Yeah,
they should be
they'll go
able
back and
to.
buy it again. They
Yeah,
will.
maybe. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that like I'm not a game developer. I can't sit there and say, well, X plus Y equals Z, and this is what it is. I'm just using as a consumer, as an observer of things that go down in this industry. They should it should never, not once, be up to the consumer to eat it. And the fact is that if you are asking me for money and I am giving you my money, I'm not going to give you my money with with this caveat being just in case it doesn't work, I'll be patient and I'll wait. No, fuck you. I gave you my $60 on day one. You didn't want me to be patient enough to not give you my money on day one, but now you want me to not play the game that I want to fucking
So
play.
you think from the consumer's perspective, we should be saying something to the effect to publishers like, "Hey, if we pre-order your game, you better give us a fucking beta because that money is going to you ahead of time. You can use it
Yes.
sooner. So
Yes.
if you announce a game in June, we expect and your game comes out in October or November, we expect a beta by September. Like because we
It's
pre-ordered,
it's
if you get like
it's
record-setting pre-order numbers in June for your game that doesn't come out for 6 months, then that should be an opportunity for a publisher to fund a beta and make that shit happen.
I like that
I don't
idea
want to
of
say
advertising pre-orders. That could be a good idea. Like pre-order and like that pre-order money goes towards the betas. Like, I like that.
I mean, I think that's a good example. I'd rather get a
that,
beta than get a fucking hat, or some
that's what I'm
dumb
saying.
thing in my game.
There's ways they can do that. There's ways around them being able to figure that out, and they can But I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that there should. The only expectation I have when I buy anything is that it works as intended. If I buy a pair of jeans, I expect them to be whole and not have holes and fall apart after a week. I buy a pair of shoes, same thing. If I buy a game, I want it to work as intended. I know there's Abdallah has an issue with day one patches. That is the best concession I'm willing to give you. Is that
the day one patch?
The day one patch. That's the biggest concession I'm willing to give you.
I mean, for a lot of developers, the way that patching has become more of a thing in consoles has really helped them. It's helped them from cutting systems. Like, so something that they mentioned on Podcast Unlocked this week was they were talking about, and honestly, so I'll go ahead and pull a question out right now. Somebody asked, should the Master Chief Collection been delayed? No, I don't think so. Like, I don't think it would have changed what happened here. I think this would have happened either way. I think they're learning, and I think it was also just timing. I mean, you had Call of Duty and then Halo, and also here are all these other games that are coming out the same fucking week. Anyways, I think that being able to say, okay, we need to make a decision. We're either going to cut these features and our fans are going to be fucking pissed, or we're going to be super sad when they hear these features are no longer there, or they find out that something got cut that they didn't get. Or we can keep it all in, ship a package that primarily works but needs some polish, and we can keep working on getting that polish ready in between now and the time that it ships. Because they have to content completed at a certain point, and being able to patch something day one gives them like an extra couple months or an extra month to work on something. And that's a valuable time. I would rather have... So, for instance, the Spartan Ops is not available right now. Not that anybody noticed or cares. But Spartan Ops comes out in December for the Master Chief Collection. And that removing that bought time to fix something else. And I'm sure a lot of that was the fact that Forge, like half the shit that's in Master Chief Collection, they didn't know they were going to put into it until like earlier this year. This game came in pretty hot, and it's because they started with the original plan of, we're going to do Halo 2 Anniversary, and then we're going to see what we can do to package the rest of these in. Then they realized, okay, we can package all 4 games. To what extent we can package all 4 games will depend on time, and resources. Like, there's a lot of little gripes about this game, like when you look at your characters and you can customize the colors of the characters, it doesn't give you real-time models of like, hey, this is what this character looks like brown or whatever, so you don't actually know until you get into the game. I'm sure that was cut literally just because it saves and shaves off time to finish this like massive fucking ridiculous package. So I guess what I'm saying is that day one patch allows developers to kind of cushion and get more into the game than they would have done either way.
I mean, that usually, like, in the case of the Evo, then it was a stability patch. It basically made the game perform better, and I don't have a problem with that. That's a concession I'm willing to do. Would I prefer that it comes and I don't need a patch? Yes, of course. But I would rather have it patched day one than patched day 5. You know what I'm saying? And that, to me, I think every consumer should absolutely, if you're a patient person and you're like, I can deal with it, it's fine, that's cool. I respect that. I wish I had that patience. But I'm not that person. I don't have patience, and I don't think I'm being impatient with the expectation that, hey, I gave you $60, my game should work. So your idea of a beta for early access for people who pre-order, awesome. A lot of people do that, and it works. There's the Titanfall way where you signed up, you got random invite, and then they opened it up, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, they used like a viral release of the beta. I think games should be released that way. I don't know, kind of.
And that's the thing. Like, the problem is, here's the problem with what your original plan was, like, the content's exclusive to you for 5 days. That problem is that competitive multiplayer shooters there is a decided advantage to the earlier you get into the game to the
The
later.
ranked playlist for Halo 2 Anniversary wasn't live the first day. They wanted to keep ranked playlists out of the launch window because of what we're going through right now. It wouldn't be fair for everyone if not everyone was being able to get access. But I
That's
agree.
exactly it. You know what I mean?
It
Like
is a
Call of
competitive
Duty,
thing.
I mean, Halo has a different angle to it because there's no loadouts and everything, so there's nothing to unlock. Everything's there, but I mean, and there a lot of new people are already at a disadvantage because there's people who played Halo 2 and know the maps inside and out, regardless of their new code of paint and the
Sure.
speed. So
Yeah.
they know the maps, but they're already at a disadvantage just by knowing the maps and knowing a map design, knowing a map layout is super important in competitive multiplayer. So there's
Yeah.
already that, but
True.
like holding back some people from being able to play the game because of reason X, Y, and Z, that's not fair and that's not cool.
Yeah,
Like
and I would
so
agree. I would agree, especially for competitive games. That makes sense. But I mean, like for instance, The Elder Scrolls Online hasn't come to consoles yet. When it
that's
does,
not coming. It's not coming.
when it does, day one, when it does, it's gonna have a horrible fucking start. Now, if they rolled it out to people who were already subscribing, and like, hey, if you've already subscribed for The Elder Scrolls Online on PC, you get this early access to the game. And basically, that early access will help them slowly roll people onto those servers. And then
Yeah, but that thing
maybe
better be ready on day one. That's the thing. Like the
that's
day
what I'm
one
saying.
that
Like
Joe
that maybe
Schmo can
that's an
walk in and buy
approach.
that game.
Maybe that's an approach to help them get it ready for day one, so that that
I don't.
initial hit is softened by the like X thousand people who aren't buying it day one because
I
they
don't
already
think there's.
have it.
I honestly don't think there's going to be a day one. There's going to be a day none. That game's going to get canceled on consoles.
I mean, they already said that this is or as recently as Tuesday or Wednesday. Podcast Unlocked had referenced the Elder Scrolls Online, either that or Beyond. I don't know. I listened to both of them today. They had referenced the Elder Scrolls Online. They got contacted by the Elder Scrolls developers saying like, "Hey, yeah, we're still working on it. Like, it's still coming to consoles." As most recently as this last week. So I don't know. Maybe you're right, but
So is Watch
I think
Dogs
it
for the
will.
Wii U.
Not it, Yeah, for like December, right? Isn't that supposed to actually come out in December or something?
We'll see.
I mean, not that anybody gives a shit. I mean, I think both of those games are in a realm where like a handful of people really want it, and then the rest of everybody's like, yeah, sure, cool.
I mean, I
Anyways,
personally don't care, but
um,
the thing is, like, okay, no, let's talk about Assassin's Creed because this is different. This isn't even a multiplayer. Like, the multiplayer isn't the issue
no,
for
yeah, that
Assassin's
well,
Creed.
there
Yeah.
are game breaking issues with the multiplayer, but I think it's part of just a bigger problem with this game specifically. So we're talking about specifically Assassin's Creed Unity now, and that game launched with just a cavalcade of horrors attached to it that just are amazing. I think it got middling reviews, and I think that's mostly because Assassin's Creed is always cool, but there's always problems, and in this game's case, performance issues out the wazoo. So let's quickly touch on that, and then we'll talk about our topic of the week, which has to do with Assassin's Creed, but from a bigger picture. So tell me what's going on with Assassin's Creed, Sean.
So you already covered that it got some not bad but not great reviews, which is surprising considering how strongly they came back with Black Flag. But this is the first, this is their next gen Assassin's Creed coming out party, and they showed up covered in shit.
This is
And
the team that made Assassin's Creed 3,
No.
right?
I'm not sure. There's a whole bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
Or maybe
teams.
they're
So,
Revelations.
I was
but
thinking
the thing
creative
is,
director from 3, which has gone on to Far Cry. That's why I was saying no, but it could be generally the whole team that
I
worked
think
on
it's the
3 for sure.
team. Yeah.
but the thing is that there's major frame rate issues, which is funny because last month or 2 months ago we talked about how they locked both at the same to avoid debates and stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and now we're now
That was dumb.
no one's debating. Everyone is
It's
100%
all
agreement
garbage.
that this is fucked.
Yeah.
And
Well, I thought it was funny
so
though
so
that it was
good job.
out of the box the Xbox One version. Apparently, I don't have experience like playing the games on either of the consoles or PC just yet. But from what I was seeing and reading, was that the Xbox One version out of the box was the best running version.
There was an anecdote saying like possibly the Xbox One version runs smoother, but it's also just like this. the Xbox One version is less smelly version of shit.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
totally.
so ultimately that doesn't matter. But yeah,
There is a fix for the PlayStation 4 version if you disconnect your PlayStation from online. Supposedly it runs smoother,
that is so
and
dumb.
so the problem is that here's my problem, and this is lead into the topic that we're going to have that we discussed earlier before the show. They should have fucking delayed this game. This game should have gotten the same treatment as Watch Dogs. It should have been delayed. They can't do that because Assassin's Creed is a giant cash cow, and Watch Dogs they didn't want to get off to a bad foot. They already have people in for Assassin's Creed, and there's money that's invested in like the investors and all that stuff. So they have to hit the bottom line. And I've said this before. I said the problem is that this is what video games are. It's art versus commerce, and they let commerce win, and that's a problem. They should have made sure that game released well because now the damage is done. They could fix it, they could patch it, they could do everything else, but now that is the black mark on this franchise. It was Assassin's Creed 3 with the people who were disappointed with that game, but that was a game thing. That was like the design doc to completion thing just didn't resonate with a lot of people. This is a game that's supposedly good, but it's fucked up it's broken.
So, what are the good parts of this game? Because I actually have no fucking clue.
Well, here's my theory is that they went too far in on this fucking NPC thing, and instead of because let me ask the question. I want you guys to answer my question as honestly as possible. Would you stop and count whether or not there was 5,000 people on the screen or 3,000 people on the screen?
Not at all.
Okay,
nope.
So why not just scale it back to 3,000 people? That's still a hell of a lot of fucking people, and if that could have kept that frame rate at a solid 30 frames per second, why not do that? And that's like
because honestly what they were talking about, the whole like there's X billion people here, I'm like, why not just do that for a tech demo? Like, I don't fucking need that in my game. I don't need that many people. Who the hell needs that many people in their game?
Actually, affecting just their like moment-to-moment gameplay too. That it's an annoyance, and that they're actually just avoiding crowds a lot of the time.
They're just in the way. Yeah, fuck that.
and the thing is, like, I appreciate the ambition. I appreciate the ambition, but that's the kind of thing you work on for years to get right, and not try to come out of the gate with that. But I heard it's gorgeous, and it looked gorgeous. I mean, I've seen it running live, and it's incredible looking. It's a beautiful, beautiful game, it's a truly next gen looking game. What the aesthetic?
I mean, like how good it looks is skin deep. Like what? Like I guess I'm really curious. That's how good looks. Good about this game? What works in this game?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I'm still waiting for my copy. But I mean, I've heard there's been several people saying that they enjoy the game. You know what I mean? They're saying they genuinely enjoy the game. They like the story. They like the characters. They like all this stuff. The problems that people have mostly been technical, and there's also the gross reliance on microtransactions and the constant push for you to do microtransactions.
Well, all right. So I remember what you're talking about now. I forgot that was a little thing that kind of slipped under the bigger pile of shit that was the performance issues. I thought that was hilarious, because that's just like super dumb. Like that. I mean, so honestly, I guess this is a good way to segue into our topic of the week. The problem with this game is there's so much going on, and they've basically acknowledged that by giving you time saver packs to physically purchase with real money, and put more money into this buggy mess that they sold you, and then. Like, what does that say to the game itself? I don't know, man. That just feels weird. Time saver packs and stuff like that only make sense for free to play games, and even that is like the worst free to play model I see. You know what I mean? Where you can pay something to speed up your progress because you don't feel like waiting. If you don't feel like waiting, then this game isn't designed the way that you want it to be, and at that point, who wants that? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I totally agree.
To pay for a game so that the way they play is to wait. Like
the reason why I mean, for one of the many reasons why I don't play games on my phone is because there's like these dumb like you hit like a wall. Like if you
Mhm.
fail X
Yeah.
amount of times, you have to wait 24 hours to play the game. Like fuck you. You don't tell me when I get to play the game. Like
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that just sucks. And I mean the thing
And
is
there's
like
and there's that built into this game for some fucking reason. And
I
and
don't. I mean, it doesn't lock you out of the game, but it's
no,
like
no, 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 no.
you can get these unlocks rather than progressing through the story. You can get them sooner, and I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to spend $90 on top of the $30 that you spent, so that you could get the shit, like that's stupid to me. That's uh, like, and the thing is, it's like what really sucks is they monetize cheat codes. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Yeah.
this is. They're monetizing cheat codes. What you used to fucking read in the back of a magazine and fucking on the internet, like if you press XYZZYXX, you get, you know, God mode or whatever the case may be, or this new weapon or whatever. And now they've said, well, we people like this stuff, so yeah, people like it
So
because it's a secret and they find it. They don't want to pay for it.
right, yeah. Like having cheat codes in Doom and in Grand Theft Auto is I mean that's a lost art. Honestly, I don't think games should have cheat codes anymore because there's no point because you're just gonna Google them and all this stuff. Like just have it in the menus. Like turn this shit on. Here's like you completed the game. Now you can play Arkham City with uh Batman dressed up as the Joker. Like here you go. Like whatever.
Well, that's like Saints Row does that now. Saints Row is like
They just
you buy the
unlock it.
cheat code. Yeah, you buy
Oh.
it like with the in-game currency. You know what
Oh,
I
okay.
mean?
Well, that's cool.
Like,
Yeah, in-game
you
currency
know,
is always fun.
yeah, it's not you don't pay for it, but it's like
Yeah.
you get like skill points that basically you add them to your thing, and it just makes you like you can fall from a building and not die. So it's like, and that's part of the game, and that's part of the ridiculousness of the game. So it kind of works. But when you're doing it in Assassin's Creed, I mean, it's just gross. And the thing that sucks is that I like Ubisoft. I've been very very fond of Ubisoft, but they are having a rough 6 months.
So let's talk about Assassin's Creed a bit from a kind of from an Eagles perspective.
Oh
from
no.
way up, from a kind of a higher standpoint, other than just this title. Yeah, I was waiting for Rory to laugh at
For a
Well, I was
synchronization
laughing at
point.
Sean's reaction
Yes,
really
from a
because it was
synchronization
crickets basically for a second after you said that.
that. So I think that Assassin's Creed has an issue that this, so kind of what you were saying, where they could have kind of drawn it in just a little bit. Maybe you don't need 3,000 or 5,000 NPCs, maybe like a few hundred, and they're all very different and unique and stuff like that. Kind of quality over quantity, literally in this case, could have helped this game's development in general, and then that would have resulted in a better final product. And I think something that, I don't know, has just been popping in my head all weekend about Assassin's Creed is I really want this franchise to take a knee and try not to outdo the previous entry for once. And I mean that in the sense of try not to outdo it from features. Assassin's Creed 1 was about finding your target and tracking him down and getting to know him to be various random things that you did, and then eliminating that target as you see fit. And then they introduced lots of cool new gadgets and things and concepts in Assassin's Creed 2, and then they expanded upon those, like your homestead or whatever that you build up, and that gets you currency, and now you have all these people that you recruit. And then in Revelations, you recruited all these people, and you were like sending them overseas, and they were doing all this stuff, and you had a fucking mini tower defense game built into the, like, they put so much shit into that game over each entry, and they've made it so complex and so big, so daunting, that it is a real undertaking to develop that game. And I think people appreciate that, but I don't think 80% of that actually helps it make a better game. I don't think anybody's going into the next Assassin's Creed going like, man, if they don't have recruiting, I'm fucking rioting. Like, no one's gonna do that. They just want a good Assassin's Creed game, good
I
parkour, a cool combat system. You know what I mean? Like having cool stealth and stuff. Like, just simplify it, boil it down to its nuts and bolts, and then kind of start the whole. It's just this feature creep. I've been trying to think of this word all day. The feature creep of Assassin's Creed, I think, is what's crippling it when it launches and has something, problems like this.
I thought with
I don't. I
Unity
don't.
they did scale it back as far as like features go. I know they've added some new online
Well,
stuff.
there's no naval combat, but as far as
Well,
I
they've
know,
taken that
I
out, but
don't.
they didn't add anything really new to the gameplay other than like the downward parkour now, which I think is a nice addition even without playing it.
Well, they
Uh,
did add 4-player co-op. I mean, that's kind of a huge.
but it's not for like it's not like 4-player co-op through the campaign. The campaign's still a single
That's
player
true.
thing. It's
That's
only
true.
specific missions and certain heists where you can bring in and call in your friends. So it's not like it's like this new across the board concept for them. And they kept saying that they're trying to bring it back into sort of more like the Assassin's Creed 1 sort of mold, and they've tweaked some things here and there. But I thought Unity was sort of that like let's bring it back a little bit, make it next gen, show huge crowds, make it beautiful. But maybe there is a bunch of modes on there I'm not really sure of. But I thought
So
this
not
was their
only
time
so
to
not
let's
only the
bring it
feature
back.
creep, I think you might have a point there, but not only the feature creep, but also the scope of it. I feel like it's just too. I mean, I think Assassin's Creed could really benefit from the lessons that The Last of Us taught us in just really bringing your scope down to a much more personal level. I think it'd be great. What were you gonna say, Sean? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. I just think, well, the thing is, like, first of all, I wanted to say that I really like the fucking recruiting. That's why Brotherhood is my favorite Assassin's Creed game, overall.
Yeah, but
And
it
I
made
like,
sense in Brotherhood. It was great. They should have
no,
left it in
no,
that game. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, I mean, I mean, they do it in Assassin's Creed 4. They always implement it in a different way. Instead of now, you have ships. Instead of having assassins, you have ships that can go out and do missions for you, and so on and so forth.
Mm.
And that's why I'm saying Assassin's Creed 4 kind of came back because it was still Assassin's Creed, but it introduced new, fresh things and fun things. And I think the problem is, and this is really prevalent with the Assassin's Creed games. Like, I got why Assassin's Creed 2 and then Brotherhood and Revelations were all kind of annualized, because it was one story arc. It was one character and it was his own little individual sequels. And then when that wrapped up, now they did Assassin's Creed 3. And I honestly don't think Assassin's Creed Black Flag was going to be Assassin's Creed 4 until Assassin's Creed 3 sucked so bad that they didn't want to, they wanted to have it be fresh, to be like, this is
Sure.
Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that they didn't think they were tying into the one that people didn't receive very well. But
I see what you're saying.
so, but the thing is like with them, my one complaint about them annualizing, and this is the thing, this is the problem, that Call of Duty doesn't have, but it can kind of have, is that you have 3 different developers working on Call of Duty now, and each one is going to bring something new, hopefully, to the game that doesn't exist in the game before it. So it becomes this thing where you're like, okay, I can skip the Call of Duty Ghosts 2 and wait for Sledgehammer's Advanced Warfare 2. Like, if that's what I want to do, because I don't really like what Infinity Ward's doing with Call of Duty, but I do like what that is. So you can skip it, and then it becomes like an every 2-year, every 3-year game for you.
Mm-hmm.
With Assassin's Creed, because they annualized it, they got away. And one of the things I liked about Assassin's Creed, I enjoyed playing them, but I like the storyline. I like the whole thing with Desmond and the Templars.
It's a really
and all that
interesting
stuff.
universe, and honestly, from my perspective, it is the golden goose of franchises. Like, you could do anything with this franchise. You can go anywhere with this franchise.
Yeah, but the problem is that
Except to Japan.
now
Apparently.
that apparently, yeah, because nobody wants to see that, because we've
It'll
all
be
played
exactly
ninjas
like
before.
all the other games that are out there. It's like, holy fuck, guys.
Yeah.
Was that what they were saying? I never read
Yes.
the reasoning.
Ubisoft, Sean
Yes.
knows this. Ubisoft is just for the last like month or two. It's just what's been coming out of their mouth has just been complete fucking garbage.
Well, they can't
man.
they can't animate women, and they can't go to Japan.
Well, they can.
So
they can
instead,
animate women.
so they edit,
No,
they animate a female in Japan in their small side game that they packed in with Assassin's Creed
It's
Unity.
China.
Season
It's China.
Pass. Oh, is that
But
China?
the-
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
But the thing, they don't all look the same, Drew.
It all sounds
um,
the same to me.
But like, no, but what I was trying to get at is that because they've annualized it, they took away that neat underlining story arc, which was Desmond in the modern day, and I feel like they wrapped that up in an unsatisfying way from what I've understood, because I didn't play Assassin's Creed 3 yet.
I think it's funny
haven't
that
played
you
it yet.
have any interest in Desmond's story and you haven't played 3, because that is like not like almost half of that game is the present day stuff. It's crazy.
Well, I have the reason why I haven't is because I just heard it wasn't good and I skipped it and I just
Eh,
played
yeah.
I just played
4.
Brotherhood like not too long before that, and then 3 I skipped Revelations. That tower defense shit is not for the birds. Fuck tower defense games. And then but it was just like so, but I just feel like they can do, you're right, they can do anything they want, they can go to any time period they want with within that game because of how they set it up, but they also removed the cool aspect of it. This new game, I don't know if you're aware, this game's a video game. You are playing a video game. You are playing a
So
game inside of a video game.
I
It's no
saw
longer
I saw part of the present day stuff in Rogue, where there was like a fire alarm, or there was and you like let loose a virus, and like Shay Cormac is the like his lifeline is the one that you need to do to like fix everything. And I mean, it's that like so the present day stuff that they did in Assassin's Creed 4, it was the same way. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was a video game being developed by Abstergo Entertainment in like published by Ubisoft in the game that you were playing. Like you were
but
testing the game that you were
you were
playing.
still using the animus.
That's
You were no,
true.
you were
That's true.
using the animus, and you were
Yeah.
still tied into the history of the thing. This one is a straight up like, I bought this game home and I'm gonna play it, and it's like
That's
I
Unity?
like, yeah, and I like.
So you're not in Abstergo Entertainment anymore? Like you're
No,
just
you are
kid at
playing a
home?
video game.
God
You are
damn it!
playing a video
So
game,
fucking stupid.
and that's what bothers me is that why did you take away the fucking cool science fiction aspect?
Yeah,
of
they're like
this? That-
slowly like using an eraser to just be like, that wasn't working. Never mind. Just
and the
we
thing is,
forget all that.
but tell me your mind was not completely blown when you played the first Assassin's Creed and you realized you were playing a science.
I mean,
fiction
honestly,
game.
that was one of my favorite things. So, like, if we talked about favorite moments of the last generation, which I think would be a great show sometime, Assassin's Creed Unity or Assassin's Creed, and like, I paid attention to all the E3 stuff, all the Gamescom stuff. Like, I was so hyped on that game. We didn't know a fucking thing about an Animus. No one knew anything about Templars and Assassins and like this huge, like no one knew. It was like the
Yeah.
fucking flood in Halo. Like no one knew this shit was coming, and then it just happened. You were like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like
This is
it
a
was
science
such a great
fiction game.
moment. Yeah, such a great
Yeah.
moment.
And that's cool. That was a cool fucking thing that like, and it wasn't something that came at the end that you found out. You started playing the game, you're like, holy shit, wait, this is a science
Yeah, the
fiction
game has like 6 more degrees to it that you didn't know, and Kevin Bacon's at the end of it.
And that's cool, but now they're getting away from that, and that's fine. Whatever. I still enjoy the core gameplay of Assassin's Creed. That's what makes me want to play the new game. By the time I get my hands on it, it'll hopefully be patched. But like, it just bums me out that like they had this really cool idea, and now because there's so many people doing it, they decided to get rid of that cool idea
So-
because they can't keep that thread going through all the games.
So
Instead
Roar-
of doing what Call of Duty does, which has 3 parallel games that are like, okay, this is this storyline, this is this storyline, this is this storyline. They tried to tie them all in, and then they just fuck it. They were just like, let's just not try to tie this in anymore. Let's just have, just ridiculous. Like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
So Rory, what would your reaction be if I said the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be like unprecedentedly a smaller scope situation? It's not going to be about saving the world. It's not going to be about traversing huge, vast open areas. It's going to be about this one person that you get to know and their story and their lineage and all of this stuff. Like it's going to be a much closer tale, a la Tomb Raider or The Last of Us.
You guys,
Would you buy
guys
that?
know me by now, man. I'm super easygoing, really, when it comes to things like that. Like, I want to play a good fucking game. Like I love the Assassin's Creed series overall. Some of them more than others, but I don't have some crazy attachment to the type of game it is. Essentially, like, oh, I love Assassin's Creed because it's open world. Like, I love open world games in general. I love narrative focused, intimate things, more like The Last of Us. If they decided, hey, I want to make an Assassin's Creed game, and it's going to be, like you said, smaller in scope and just even more linear, and we don't have quite as much space to explore, like, I'd play that
Goes
game
back
if
to
it
that
looked like a good
Prince of
fucking
Persia
game.
style
Man.
or something.
What's that?
So it goes back to like the Prince of Persia style, because Assassin's Creed, people don't realize this. Assassin's Creed is a spiritual successor to Prince of Persia, and then
Yeah.
it became its own franchise, and then they decided, oh, I guess we can still keep Prince of Persia as Prince of Persia
Yeah, and just there's
because
always new
Assassin's Creed
stuff. If
was so
Assassin's
far off the
Creed
beaten path.
wants to change and become something new, cool. And then there'll be another open world game like Assassin's Creed somewhere down the line, or GTA's will continue.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something new. And if they want to evolve the Assassin's Creed series, like I would not be throwing my hands up. It's the same thing
Yeah.
with with 343 wanting to like evolve Halo. If a Rockstar all of a sudden said, "Hey, Grand Theft Auto 6, our first-person mode in Grand Theft Auto 5 was such a huge success. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be primarily a first-person game," I wouldn't be
That
like,
would be fucking
"Fuck no!" I'd be curious and open, and it would probably be awesome. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like good games. I have no
Yeah.
attachment to something like that specifically.
So, Sean, what do you think about the future of Assassin's Creed and like kind of maybe them trying something drastically different?
I mean, that's fine if they want to try something drastically different as long as it's good. But there's certain things. I mean, I'm not quite, as you all know, not as easygoing as Rory, but I'm not totally closed off to them trying new things. I love Splinter Cell, and you brought it up before as like Conviction. I like Conviction. I don't think Conviction is the best Splinter Cell game, but I think Blacklist is almost as good as
Chaos Theory.
Chaos Theory,
Yeah.
and probably in some aspects it's better because there's more mobility. You have more freedom to do different things. Like they expanded the different paths to different play styles, which was cool. And I played that game the first time through completely stealthy, didn't get spotted once. So that was something that was cool that they did, and it refreshed the franchise and it made it something new and interesting, but still keeping what made that game special. And if they can do that with Assassin's Creed, I'd absolutely be for it. And I'm totally for that. And like, it's just the problem I have is that the hook that I had, the narrative hook, now that hook is no longer there. Now it's all about just the gameplay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like the last game, I loved Assassin's Creed 4, but that setup for that game was stupid. You get a fucking assassin outfit, and all of a sudden you're a fucking assassin. Like, it was that stupid.
Yeah.
And like, and I laughed about it, and I was like, fuck it. But I wouldn't laugh. I mean, periodically through the game, I'm like, this guy has been an assassin for 4 days, and he's doing all this assassin shit. Now I can see through walls. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's like, fuck it, it's stupid, but I'm enjoying the game so much that I've given up on that part of it. So it is all about the gameplay. So they have to, that's the thing. Like if they're going to streamline it, but it's going to make it a really good, fun game to play and a memorable game to play, then that's fine.
So we opened up a thread on the Facebook group to get some questions. We've actually answered a couple of them, but I got one left.
Well, I didn't answer the Master Chief Collection thing, and my answer is yes. It should have been delayed.
I don't think it could have been.
No,
I think it'd be.
I don't know.
If it wasn't based around the
couldn't have
anniversary
been.
of Halo 2, sure, but that was the whole thing, man.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it could have been. I'm saying it should have been.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if a game is not going, here's the thing. Like back in the Giant Bombcast a while back, when Drew first took the seat with the Bombcast, because I don't know if you remember, Drew wasn't an original cast member.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He was talking about how his friend worked for a developer, and they would have meetings before the game's launch, and they would have a bug list, and they would go through and be like, this is a bug, and they'd be like, known shippable. Right. And they would know that there was a bug in the game, and they would ship it anyway.
Oh yeah,
and that's
dude,
the
I was
thing,
a tester at EA, man. That's how it always comes down. Like we would be testing games, and there would be A bugs, B bugs, C bugs, D bugs, and it was like at a certain point, it was like D bugs, okay, like we're not gonna worry about those anymore. C rated bugs, we can't worry about those anymore. Now we're just focusing on A's and B's, which would be game crashing and things like that, which we've seen a few of these games launch with, but that's the way that's totally how it works. It gets to a point in the development timeline where it's like, okay, little glitches like this, we know they're there, but we just don't have time before launch anymore. So unless it's a game crashing bug or something that's going to ruin the experience, it's put aside.
And that's why, like, it bums me out that games get delayed, because I'm looking forward to that game. But if it makes the game better, then I'm for it. But that's just my stance. I think any game, that has problems, that you know it's going to launch with problems, and people are, and a large enough section of the audience is going to experience these problems, do not ship the fucking game. That's my own personal stance. I understand. I get all the stuff. I get that they have a timeline, they have a deadline, they have the financials to answer for. They have, obviously they wanted to hit in time for the Halo 2 anniversary. Like, I get all that and I understand that. But in my personal opinion, with no real ties to anything, delay the fucking game, make it better. Rockstar, that's the thing. Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto 5, every time a Grand Theft Auto comes out, it's a huge event. And they delayed Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if you guys remember. It was supposed to come out in April.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I remember that. They delayed Destiny. Destiny was delayed like almost 9 months.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's what you should do when you have a fucking game. And the thing is, Destiny might not have all the content that we thought it was going to have, but that game is not broken. That game plays fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no, it's,
you know what I mean?
Amazing.
So that's the thing. Like, do it. Just take that time, fucking do it. Don't hit your window. Put the brakes on it and make a better fucking game.
So, anyways, the last question that we're going to cover this for this week's episode is, how do you feel knowing that some of the best games that came out this year are re-releases? Rory, what's your take on this first? Because I have some weird thoughts, and I'm sure Sean has. You
got to repeat the question there. Sorry.
No, I don't think it will.
Okay, then I will. Sit this outside line.
No, just answer a different question.
How do you feel?
Just
the question is.
Sorry, guys.
Question is, how do you feel? Shut up. Question is, how do you feel knowing that some of the best games that came out this year are re-releases, according to this person?
Oh.
So what's your take on that, Rory?
Who's the person? You got to read their name out.
I don't know. I just copied and pasted and threw it into a thing.
So what are those games? Master Chief Collection, I guess, in a sense.
Last of Us.
Tomb Raider
and stuff. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's like when I'm looking at my best games of the year list, like those games aren't even going to be like. I'm not even going to think about them. Like, Last of Us is not going to get a second thought from me. Master Chief Collection is not going to get a second thought from me. Tomb Raider is not going to get a second thought from me as far as best games of the year go.
Do you consider GTA 5 a re-release? Because I don't really consider that a re-release.
I'm glad there have been
absolutely.
But they're not my best games of the year, like in any way whatsoever. So
okay.
I don't know. It's a strange.
Then Ray Angelus disagrees and claims that the best games of this year are re-releases. So what's your take on that, Sean? Is how do you feel knowing in your heart the best games of this year were re-releases?
Well, I already talked about how my favorite game that I played this year that I hadn't experienced before was the Swapper, and that's a re-release because it came out on PC. Then there's the I still feel like on a AAA level, Tomb Raider is still the best game I played this year. The Last of Us is the second best game I played this year. In terms of just an overall experience, it doesn't give you that fresh experience like when you first fucking play the game, but it's still a great experience.
Yeah, but that would be like me just like better. For me it's like the same as like, oh, I'm gonna put in my PS3 copy of Last of Us again and be like, oh, I played it this year, it's my game of the year again. Like, I could say that.
No, because there's enough different stuff that like the extra 60 frames per second is better. The fact that you can unlock all the difficulties are unlocked right from the get-go makes it better because
it's not a new game. It's sort of. So I don't know.
No, it's not. I'm like,
best
it's
games
not.
I played this year would be like things like Forza Horizon 2, Sunset Overdrive, the South Park Stick of Truth is definitely going to be one of those. Probably Shovel Knight.
No, but that's not like. It's still. It doesn't change the fact that those games, even though they're re-released with better graphics and better frame rate and stuff like that, they're still every bit as amazing as they were last generation.
Well,
or
totally.
last
That's
year.
The thing. The Last of Us is going to be every bit of amazing on my PS3 as it was, like 2 years.
I just
from
remembered
it's still going to be
BioShock Infinite.
Amazing.
BioShock Infinite was a re-release last week. They had Sleeping Dogs was re-released this year. I think his question might be more to the effect of like, hey, how come all newer games aren't better than these, games that they're popping out?
Well, yeah,
There's lots
that's
of
where
new
it comes from.
releases
It's
like
like kind of
left and
knocking the
right.
quality of what's come this year, and I think we've had a lot of really good quality stuff. Like I was saying, like the Horizon 2 and Sunset, and again going back to the South Park Stick of Truth earlier in the year, and there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about off the top of my head though. But we had a lot of great games this year. Were there
So
tens
my
like we were
my
talking about earlier? No, but there was some good stuff.
oh, for sure. My response is more to the effect of, I mean, I said it earlier. I kind of don't feel the same way that Sean does. I feel a lot of years it's just an off year, and I don't take offense to that. And I don't look at
Well, I
it as
definitely
like,
don't take offense to it.
no, but
I'm
some
not
people do.
offended by
Some
it.
people really are like, I can't fucking believe that there isn't a super great game this year. Like, where's fucking Super Mario Galaxy this year? Like,
Yeah, I'm not the type.
you
I
can't
probably don't give
expect
out a
like the
10 every
best
year.
game
Like I
ever
know I
to
don't
release
really.
each year. And so when there are years like I think this year, considering there isn't some like tentpole crazy Fallout, Skyrim, Uncharted, GTA thing happening, like new game this year, I think what we are getting is a lot of really solid shit. For
No,
it
and
to be
that's
the
the thing.
first
Like,
full year of a generation, like, this is fantastic. This is a great start. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is one of the
2006
no,
was
best
this
first
nothing
years
compared to
ever.
this.
this is a this. Do not mistake what was saying earlier. This is a great year for games.
Oh yeah,
I just haven't been blown away by anything like I
sure.
was,
And I
and I
haven't been,
can.
and yeah, and I haven't been expecting to be blown away until next year. Like, that is the year that, like, when I knew that we were getting these consoles last year, as soon as I knew that, I was like, 2017 or 20. Wait, what the fuck is next year? 2015.
Yeah, Jesus.
I don't know where I am. 2015 is going to be the fucking year that we're either going to hear about or play most of the games that are going to set the trend for next generation. Now, if next year is a like massive letdown somehow, which I don't even know how you would do that with a new Halo, assuming there's a new Uncharted, we have The Witcher and Bloodborne and Batman all next year. I don't know how you make next year suck, but if it does, then I will be upset. In this
No, but
case,
here's
I'm
I'm
not.
not
Like, I'm not
I'm not
even
upset.
upset at all.
I'm not upset, but I'm bummed. And the thing is like I've had great experiences. I love Wolfenstein. I love Titanfall. I really really enjoyed The Evil Within, which shocked the shit out of me. I enjoyed Watch Dogs. I liked Destiny. I loved the new Call of Duty. Like I've definitely enjoyed games, but when I'm rating games, and I do that because I write for a website to review games,
Yeah,
and no game has hit like that fucking thing where I was like, this is the most incredible experience I've had this year. And I've had a lot of fun with these games. I've definitely enjoyed them. But like I said, I listed the games from 2000 on that every year I had at
sure.
least one. And 2008, I had two games that I thought were fucking exceptional: Grand Theft Auto 4 and Metal Gear Solid 4. And those are, and like every year I can say that there was a game that fucking blew me away. That experience blew me the fuck away. And there hasn't been that yet. And I'm hoping, I mean, my last two hopes are basically Dragon Age, which I'm not going to play till probably December, and Far Cry next week. So that's all I'm saying is that
Did
I'm
you
not
have
saying
those
it's a
games,
bad
Sean? Like,
year.
you were saying 2008 and beyond, you could like count a day, a game for every year and stuff. Like, but did you have that game for the first year or 2 years? Like for me, on the first year of Xbox 360, like I was wowed on a bunch of stuff, but I guess it wasn't until Gears of War hit,
Call of
which was
Duty
like
2,
about a
yeah,
year
that was the
later,
only
where
one
I
that I
was like,
really liked.
whoa,
And then,
Well,
fuck,
here
now we're in. But even then, I still wouldn't be
here
like it's a 10. But you know what I'm saying?
here's the thing though. This is the first year I've ever owned a first year console.
Oh, okay.
okay,
Um,
okay,
so I usually wait a year for more games and for more um, and for the kinks to be worked out
Yeah.
on the hardware. But this year was the first year I went in, and here's the thing: like I don't. A good game is a good game, regardless of what year it comes out in. And I don't think anything about the thing that are keeping these games from being amazing experiences has anything to do with it being the first year of a console. Um, you know what I mean? Like if it was if it was a 10 out of 10 for me, it would still be a 10 out of 10. And that could very well be Far Cry 4 next week. You know what I mean? I could get that game next week. Um, but So yeah, I don't. The whole thing about it being a first year like that doesn't really.
I
I
guess
mean,
just
I don't understand
being a
what would
launch
be.
console guy, like over all the years, it's just like that's first year, man. Like I don't
So
remember ever
so the
owning a
so the
console
Xbox
first year
360
except for
came out in
N64 with
November
Mario.
2005. We just hit the 13 no the wait what fucking day is it? I don't even know what day it is anymore. We just hit like 9 years for the Xbox 360. March of '06, so less than 6 months later, I think. Oblivion came out, and I think that was the first game that really hit the 360 that was like, wow, this is great. But even Oblivion, as a huge Elder Scrolls fan, I think even Oblivion wasn't really like, wow. It wasn't
Okay, but
until Halo 3 and Gears of War hit the 360, and the year Halo 3 came out, there was Modern Warfare, there was so many other games like it. Then
let
that
me
was 2 years
just.
in.
Gears of War came out within the first year of the Xbox 360, though.
Was it? Was it in '06?
It was the 2000. It came out in the fall 2006,
Okay,
so it
all
was
right,
within
yeah.
the first year of the console. And while I don't personally think Gears of War is all that great, I
I
know
mean,
that
it
that
did
was
definitely set the console on fire, but yeah, I don't think it might have set the industry on fire so much as like what you're
it
talking
was
about
it
with
was
games that
gorgeous
just like
and
stand above and
graphic.
beyond.
And this is I mean, like I said,
This is all
the overall.
subjective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously subjective, but like I said, like I was talking about earlier, there's certain games that there is a cultural zeitgeist around that game where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just the
Like The
conversation
Last
around
of
that game.
Us,
And they're
everybody loves it.
and but let's talk about the zeitgeist around these games has all been negative. You know what I mean? Like the big zeitgeist about everything that we're
I'm
experiencing. While we
really
personally
suspicious that that's just a thing right now, though. Like, I'm
no,
waiting for. I mean, people love The Last of Us. People love GTA, but even then, like last year, people were starting to try to find anything and everything to be upset about. And this year, they've really just hit their stride, and people are getting upset about games that are just spectacular. So what? You can't get on matchmaking. If that's all you cared about in Halo, like I really feel for you because there is so much there.
but
There's
that's you're a
so
big
much there.
but you're a big Halo fanboy. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm
And you're
saying.
you
Like,
know
well,
that, and
I'm
that's
saying for the
fine.
fans because I've been watching Halo fans, people who are quote unquote Halo like hardcore, going back to man, I remember
And
playing Halo 2, and they're like, "Fuck this game because I can't play matchmaking on the first day." Like, dude,
that's a
there's so
legitimate.
much more to this game.
Yeah, but if that's what you want, if that's what you bought the game for, it's like the people that buy Call of Duty to play multiplayer. Like if they don't give a shit about campaign.
Multiplayer's not working really well. It doesn't mean the game's broken. It means they need to fix the fucking multiplayer. That's all.
All right,
But
guys. I
Anyways,
just wanted to say I got to
gotta
bounce
wrap.
shortly. Got to wrap it up
Yeah,
soon
we
for
gotta wrap.
myself.
So thanks everybody for your questions. We're going to continue doing more of this stuff. We will be dropping question threads in our Facebook group, and we'll be tweeting out when we are accepting questions on our Twitter. Learn about all of those and more at www.r8dmgaming.com/about-rated-m. Ratedmgaming.com. You'll learn everything. You'll get all the links and all the shit. We'll see you guys every week at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, twitch.tv/Rated M Podcast. Anything else? Rated M4 Podcast, sorry.
All that fun stuff.
All that good stuff.
That's
All
our
right.
name.
We'll see you guys next week.
Go
All right,
see Interstellar,
later.
everybody. Go see Interstellar.
My girlfriend's leaving town next week to go home to visit, so I might try to go see it next weekend.
Nice. Sean,
We'll see you guys.
I know it's tight, with the disposable income, but if you can scrounge it, that movie, man, like, it's just definitely you'll enjoy watching it even if you don't like the movie. At the end of the day, you'll appreciate seeing it on the big screen. It's just one of those movies.
I've seen a
Okay.
lot of stuff. Yeah, I've seen a lot of tweets about like, oh my god, I gotta see it on my IMAX and all that stuff. So I'll be checking it.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll see you.
Later.
Later,
Take care.
everybody.
Later.
Bye.